I'm Marilee Caruso. It's Thursday, August 21st. Today, a tough pill to swallow.
Obviously angry at this person because they could have just killed your daughter.
A Winnipeg couple says a mistake at their local pharmacy almost cost their daughter's life. What they want you to know. Also today, fatal factors.
The frustrating thing is that, the vast majority, if not all of these, are completely preventable.
The 3 factors leading to another deadly year on Manitoba highways. Plus, a source of pride.
I see this as that first step forward for something that could be extremely huge for this community.
Another step forward for Canada's largest urban reserve. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. A Winnipeg couple is looking for answers and warning other parents after their daughter unknowingly overdosed on prescription medication. Standing by live in studio to explain is CTV's John Hendricks. John, what happened?
Marilee, Andrea Findrickson and Kevin Barkley say their 10-year-old daughter overdosed because of a medication mistake at their local pharmacy. A pharmacist filled a prescription with pills that were 10 times stronger than her regular dose. When the parents realized what had happened, their reaction was summed up in one word.
Panic, because I just know that it's so unlike my daughter. And so that's why I frantically called poison control and the pediatrician, and we went down to the emergency room as soon as we could.
The pills were picked up at the Shoppers Drug Mart pharmacy at Dominion Center. The dose she was given, 20 milligrams. Her prescribed dose, just 2. Now, the daughter is okay, but the ER doctor said the outcome could have been far worse if they had waited any longer. The parents say they received an apology, but now they want a review to prevent this from happening to others.
There needs to be a better method in this routine to ensure that those mistakes just can't happen, because they can be dangerous and they can end lives. And
we're just we got extremely lucky because even the emergency room doctor had said, like, had this been a few more days, it would have been a very different story for the outcome of our daughter.
So, John, what does Shoppers Drug Mart have to say about all of this?
Marilee, it appears there is an investigation underway by Shoppers' parent company, Loblaw, who sent CTV News this statement. We take this matter very seriously and have launched a thorough investigation with our pharmacy incident team. We are in contact with the associate owner of this location and are in the process of contacting the family. And it turns out this kind of thing happens more often than you may think. CTV's Jeff Keel is working on this story. You can watch his full report later on CTV News at 6.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks, John. Mounties say a man is dead after his boat capsized in Lake Winnipeg. RCMP say the boat, but not the operator, was discovered approximately 2 kilometers northwest of Balsam Harbor Marina. That's on the east shore, not far from Grand Beach. RCMP, the local fire department, Canadian Coast Guard and underwater recovery teams were sent to search. About 2 hours later, Mounties say the body of a 77-year-old man was pulled from the water. He was wearing a life jacket. The investigation continues. More encouraging news tonight in the wildfire fight. The province says 6 large fires are no longer considered out of control. This includes the 359,000-hectare fire in Nopaming Provincial Park, the fire east of Cross Lake, and the one surrounding Leaf Rapids. The province-wide state of emergency is also due to expire tomorrow on Friday, and the province says it will once again begin issuing burn permits. Now, additionally, Wekusko Fall Provincial Park near Snow Lake is also reopening for seasonal campers tomorrow at noon. RCMP say Manitoba is on track for another deadly year on Manitoba roads and highways. As of Sunday, there have been 37 fatal collisions, resulting in 41 deaths. That's on par with last year's numbers and only slightly below Manitoba's 5-year average of 38 fatal collisions and 43 deaths. It's a track RCMP say will likely result in 100 fatalities this year, a number it says is just too high.
The Canadian Armed Forces were in Afghanistan for about 13 years fighting the war on terror, and we lost 158 Canadians in war. We're losing 2/3 of that every single year in Manitoba due to collisions, right? And if we think about that, that's a crazy number.
Sergeant Mike Hume of RCMP Traffic Services says most fatal crashes are caused by three things: speeding, aggressive driving, and impaired driving. He adds almost half of the people who died in car crashes were not wearing seatbelts.
Generally speaking, these are all preventable. So it's a 43 or 41 completely wasted deaths.
Nationally, RCMP are starting to see deaths due to drug-impaired driving surpass the number of alcohol-related deaths. Filling up your gas tank this year is costing you about $8 more than it did before the province put the gas tax back in place. This is according to the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, which just released its annual gas tax report. For an average family of two, the organization says that works out to about $555 more than last summer. In all, the report shows 29 cents of each liter of gas is going to tax, or about 22%, which according to the report is actually the lowest rate in the country.
We've seen the Manitoba government many times say they want to commit to make life more affordable, but in this year, Manitobans have faced two different tax hikes. We've seen the gas tax go up to 12.5 cents per liter, as well as the government also hiked income taxes through getting rid of bracket creep. So we're also saying that if the government wants to make good on its commitment to cut taxes, a good place to start is something that worked really great in 2024 is to bring that fuel tax back down.
The figures are based on an average fuel price of $1.34 a liter, which was the price when the data was compiled last month. Ottawa and Treaty 1 First Nations have agreed to move forward on the development of Canada's largest urban reserve.
I see this as that first step forward for something that could be extremely, extremely huge for this community.
Today, Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Galmaisty visited Nawe Odena, a joint urban reserve project and home to a new gas and convenience store. Galmaisty announced additional funding of almost $800,000 for the next phase of the development, which will include residential, commercial, education, cultural, health, and community spaces.
These lands were once owned by the Crown. We need to remember that. Lands that were basically stolen from our people, that are now being transformed to an economic asset that's going to grow and be a source of pride and income and resources for Treaty 1 First Nations and people for generations and generations to come.
This latest funding brings total federal investment in the project to about $5.5 million. The urban reserve is comprised of 109 acres of land on the former site of Capion Barracks. Well, there was a bit of cleaning and mopping up today after a destructive overnight storm. In Assiniboine Park, lightning struck the residential school totem pole. The top of the pole was damaged with debris scattered on the ground. The totem pole was erected in 2022 by the Southern Chiefs organization. It's 21 meters tall and carved from a massive West Coast tree. SCO and Assiniboine Park Conservancy are assessing the damage. Access around that pole is now restricted due to safety concerns. Well, the heavy rain forced the cancellation of the opening round of the Manitoba Open Golf Tournament today. Big puddles riddled Breezy Bend Golf Course in Headingley. Some of the biggest up-and-coming golfers are competing in one of the oldest pro golf tournaments in North America. Play is expected to resume tomorrow morning. And the overnight storm brought down power lines like this one that fell onto a minivan in River Heights. Manitoba Hydro reminds you to stay at least 10 meters away from any down lines and call 911. The storm left hundreds of Manitoba Hydro customers without power this morning. Crews were making repairs throughout the day. All right, let's check in with Colleen Brady now and get an update on what she's tracking this evening. Hopefully no more storms.
Well, at least not for Winnipeg. We won't have another overnight storm like we did over the past night that just went through. Sorry, I was up through all that storm, so I'm a little short on sleep, as I'm sure a lot of folks are as well. Now, these are some images taken by our own Daniel Timmerman. He grabbed his camera and he got out there and he took a look at all the lightning that was firing off overhead of where he was in Winnipeg. Can you believe it? Yeah, there was lightning like that. There was sheet lightning, and that rain just kept coming on down, and it was very heavy at times. We will have some rainfall totals coming up in Winnipeg. It was quite a range, and not just here. here in the city. Of course, a lot of other areas saw some rain. Some rain coming down right now. Actually, I'm going to go this way. Some thunderstorms because they're headed east. Northwestern Ontario, a lot of areas under a severe thunderstorm watch, as is parts of southeastern Manitoba. And then we have that rainfall warning that continues across parts of the north. I'll have the update on the rain falling there and a look at those severe storms and a look ahead to tonight's weather for Winnipeg. Let's take a look right now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, 26 degrees, winds out of the northwest. It is very humid out there. The pressure's rising and the humidity is 62%. Out in traffic, a quick look there at Donald Street. Busy in both directions, but moving well.
We have an update on the search for that missing Norwegian hiker in northern Manitoba. That and much more local news still ahead.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Get Winnipeg's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
There's more opposition to a BC billionaire's push to take over lease agreements from the Bay. The team overseeing the credit protection case for the failed retailer says it doesn't think landlords should be forced to accept Ruby Lou as a tenant. Those landlords say Lou's team doesn't have retail experience and the timelines for renovation aren't realistic. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. Another dip for the Canadian dollar, putting it under 72 cents U.S. West Texas Intermediate is up, hitting 63.52. Western Canadian Select up almost $1 to 49.42. And the TSX jumped 176 points today to 28,055. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
New details tonight in the disappearance of a Norwegian hiker who's believed to have been swept away by a fast-moving river in the far north. Searchers have now recovered Stefan Sheltilvik's backpack and a rifle he was carrying on the shore of the Hayes River east of York Factory. That's according to RCMP and a representative for his family. Mounties also say his GPS device gave out its last coordinates Thursday afternoon on the east shore, about 4.5 kilometers from York Factory. The family spokesperson says Sheltilvik has been preparing for a trek across northern Canada for more than a year.
What I can say is that this is his big dream. It has been a goal he has been aiming to reach for a long time. In his last conversation with the family Wednesday last week, leaving the last known position, he was happy, he was satisfied, he was having a lot of supplies with him for the last part of the journey.
Mounties say teams are continuing to search downriver but are not sending in divers until they can narrow down the search area. A special fundraising event this weekend is helping make sick kids' dreams come true. It's called the Ride for a Child's Wish Family Fun Day. This is the 35th year for the event. It includes a horse trail ride and a 250-kilometer motorcycle ride around the Interlake. Over the past 3 decades, the event has raised $1.8 million for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The event has helped kids' dreams come true with either a special trip or a visit with their hero. Organizers recently helped a little girl in Inwood get a dream play structure in her yard.
We had a very nice play structure that we made for her and everything else like that. So.
And she was thrilled. She's like 5 years old and she's just thrilled and stuff. And they'll be at the ride.
Now, you don't need a horse or a motorcycle. There's live entertainment, children's activities, and a huge barbecue feast throughout the afternoon. The Ride for a Child's Wish Family Fun Day is this Saturday. It's located just off Highway 6 near Road 323 near Woodlands. For more information, you can visit makeawish.ca.
Community Connection is brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Born to be a hero, trained to be a plumber.
They're going to be threaded on to all of these hairs.
How a sculpture at the Living Prairie Museum will help change the landscape. That and more local stories still ahead.
Sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg. Presenting Led Zepp again, the premier tribute.
Baseball and hot dogs go hand in hand, of course, but what about baseball and regular dogs? The Winnipeg Goldeyes think they do. The 8th annual Bark in the Park is this Saturday afternoon at Blue Cross Park when the Goldeyes take on the Lincoln Salt Dogs. Bark in the Park is a special dog-friendly game where fans are invited to bring their dogs. Goldeyes players will wear special jerseys that'll be auctioned off with proceeds going to the Goldeyes Field of Dreams Foundation. The first 750 dogs through the gates will get a complimentary treat bag, and proceeds from the 50-50 draw will go to the Winnipeg Pet Rescue Shelter. Ticket packages include a seat for one dog and one owner. Dog owners must sign a registration form. Visit goldeyes.com for more information. A unique sculpture is taking shape at the Living Prairie Museum, and it's helping teach visitors about the role bison play in the world around us.
As they go, they change the whole landscape. They will dig at the soil. They will make room for new plants to grow.
They also transport seeds in their fur to new places where the plants will one day grow. And that's what Living Prairie Museum visitors are helping create. They're shaping clay beads that contain seeds with guidance from two-spirit artist and educator Britt Ross. The beads will then be attached to the sculpture, which will be part of an exhibit at the St. Boniface Hospital Gallery before being moved into an outside garden later this fall.
As the rain and the snow and the weather slowly dissolve that clay, those seeds are going to flow down into the soil and create a new little prairie patch.
You can help create the sculpture at the Living Prairie Museum now through the beginning of September. The exhibit runs September 11th to mid-November. A new entertainment venue is open in Steinbach.
People walk into that concourse and just go, oh, like, are we still in Steinbach?
Indeed, you are. The Southeast Event Center is a place to enjoy live performances, sporting events, and art exhibitions. The center invited the community for a free grand opening celebration. The facility features 2 indoor ice surfaces, a 4,000-person concert and event venue, gymnasium with 2 courts, walking track, children's play zone, and a restaurant.
This is so built by the community, for the community, and it will continue to do that. And every dollar spent in this building goes back into the building.
The $75 million center is expected to attract curling tournaments, trade shows, and other large-scale events. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory. Then at 8, it's The Rookie, with more Big Bang Theory at 10 and E-Talk at 10:30. A live look at Portage Avenue east and westbound in front of Polo Park. Not a lot of traffic there, so no problems to relay to you. 26 degrees. It is very humid. It feels like 31. Winds out of the northwest. I'll have your full forecast coming up.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Well, what I was trying to tell you earlier is that if you didn't get much sleep overnight because of those thunderstorms, you'll probably get a better sleep tonight, at least here in the Winnipeg area. I'm not expecting another round of those thunderstorms to come through, but other areas to the east, well, you just might. There's thunderstorms coming through right now across northwestern Ontario, and much of that region under a severe thunderstorm watch. But those severe thunderstorm watches spill back into Manitoba for eastern sections of the province, the southeast, including places like Lac du Bonnet. Another cold front crossing through. You notice those very strong northwest winds. Even though it's very hot and humid, that's actually a cold front coming through, and it's triggering these thunderstorms. That air mass, very hot, very humid, and you've got those winds coming through, just sort of slicing into it, that front, if you can imagine. And here we go with those thunderstorms. Elsewhere in the north, we have a line of regions from Lynn Lake through Thompson Gillam and now over to Shamattawa out under an outright rainfall warning. Total rainfall amount still expected to come in somewhere between 70 millimeters between what's already started to fall earlier today and what will continue to fall until late tomorrow night. So here's a look at that rain crossing those warned regions. Meanwhile, down here in the south, we'll actually see the sky clear out tonight too. The winds will ease up considerably. We've got the rain pushing further off into northwestern Ontario overnight. As we get into Friday morning, that rain just keeps coming down across the north. Again, at least 50 to 70 millimeters possible by the time this finally winds out of the region. But even late tomorrow afternoon, still going pretty strong. Meanwhile, down here in the south, there's a low chance we could see showers in Winnipeg late tomorrow afternoon. We head into tomorrow night still. That rain is actually starting to ease up, but it is still coming down in parts of the northeast, and gradually that system pulls out on Saturday. For Winnipeg tonight, the sky is clearing, an overnight low of 13 degrees, winds out of the northwest at 20 kilometers an hour. They will shift over the course of the overnight hours. They will regain strength coming out of the west tomorrow. 40 gusting to 60, 21 is the high. There's a chance of showers late tomorrow afternoon with a low thunderstorm risk. The weekend, you see cooler temperatures. Relatively speaking, 18, 19 degrees Saturday, Sunday, both days under a mix of sun and cloud. Then a string of sunny days takes us right through to the midweek on Wednesday, and those temperatures ramp back up. 21 Monday, peaking at 27 degrees in the sun on Wednesday. Now look at the sky just lighting up. Now Tracy took this photo from her point of view in South Osborne as those thunderstorms started to fire off, just the massive bolt of lightning there. And this next one is from Lacey. I think it's hard to tell from this perspective. I believe that's a roll cloud. That's as the storms were moving in to the Rosser area. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Manitoba has won another medal at the Canada Games in Newfoundland. Portage La Prairie's Soren Wesselake cycled his way to a gold medal Wednesday in men's mountain biking. It's actually his second medal of these games. He nabbed a bronze in the time trial. No finals today for Team Manitoba as athletes are competing in several sports, including round 3 of golf, artistic swimming, diving, wrestling, and much, much more. Manitoba will look to improve in the final round of golf, though, where they sit 6th in men's, 8th in team, and 18th in women's. Team Manitoba, in case you're keeping count, has 18 medals so far. Congratulations to our latest medal winner.
Gold,
and,
we'll take it. Good job.
Good luck to the rest of those still chasing down those medals. Love hearing and seeing your photos of success. All right, that does it for us this hour, but don't go far. We'll be back at 6 with more news then.